What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes checking in with one of the top bantamweights in the world. His name is Farid Basharat, and he's coming off a big win over Chris Gutierrez at UFC 320 here in Las Vegas a few weeks ago. Farid, congrats on that win. And pretty big card you were on. Like, that card had a lot of buzz. All the winners got a nice lift. Wouldn't you agree?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I would say so for sure. I've been fortunate enough in my UFC career to be on some big cards. I made my debut UFC 285. It was John Jones, return of John Jones against Cyril Gane. Last year I fought on what was it? It was Topuria, Max Holloway, Chimaev, Whitaker. So yeah, man. When you're growing up, you always dream of being on the big cards. You know, fighting in front of on the big shows. So yeah, I love it. I love fighting on the big cards.
By the way, a lot of these fighters are obviously the ones that we just named, champions, former champions, legends. In your fight week, did you, maybe spend a little time just watching how they compose themselves or what they do on fight week, just so that you can obviously, as you keep growing, you keep learning from the predecessors that have accomplished things at the highest level?
Absolutely. Definitely. I remember my UFC debut. John Jones in particular, when we were backstage for the ceremonial weigh-ins, and I wasn't necessarily nervous, but there was a sense of like okay, here we go. I remember John Jones came into the backstage, and he was so happy, so free, dapping everybody up, hugging people, and I remember looking at that and thinking, look how nobody here has more pressure than him. He's the greatest of all time, and if he's enjoying it 15, 16 years into his UFC career that way, like, why are you so stressed out? Calm down, enjoy the process. So yeah, every time I go on these fight weeks, I'm always analyzing and watching some of the top guys and pick up a little bit wherever I can, for sure.
Well, that's a great story. I'm glad you shared that. And did that calm you at that moment? Have you been calm ever since, when in that particular
100%. Yeah, no, it's definitely helped because again, like I said, this is John Jones, greatest of all time. He's been there, he's done that. And I know one thing I've realized in this sport is no matter how effortless somebody makes this sport look or how calm they may be, inside everybody feels the pressure. Inside everybody's scared. And I knew for a fact John at that point probably did feel nervous and whatever too, but he's just so accustomed, he's so used to dealing with those nerves and those fears, if you will, that he was able to project such a calm, effortless, graceful aura and energy. And I took that and I said, you know what, man, enjoy this whole thing, man. He was kind of arms out, it was something. It definitely is something clicked in my mind. I was like, man, I need to take this from John Jones.
I hear you, man. No, here's why I asked, because a lot of fighters get stuck on Apex cards and then they almost enjoy it and they feel like they're away from the stress and the big lights and all that. But at the same time, you're going to regret it one day, because I think that's what you all want at some point.
Right.
Plus, the game, it reverberates again after a big win on a big card. You know what I'm saying? Whereas
100%.
Apex fighters sometimes get lost in the shuffle. And, I'm a big Manchester United fan. I know that you were raised in England. And there's this story about Cristiano Ronaldo, when he came back to Manchester United the second time in 2021. A lot of the younger players who obviously knew of the legend were happy to play with him, and they would observe him, and they noticed, man, this guy, even at age 37, I think he was at the time,
right?
He doesn't eat dessert. He doesn't drink. He doesn't go out and party. And it's almost like it clicked. Maybe that's why he's had longevity and he's the greatest of all time and he's fairly injury-free, because, and these were some veterans that were kind of learning along the way, but you can always pick up something from the legends.
100%, man. I remember reading, it's on the same point. I remember reading Muhammad Ali's autobiography. And one thing he said, and I was 14 maybe when I read it, and he said something that kind of stuck with me my whole life. He said, if I want to be the best at something, I just look at the greats before me and I build on that. So he said something along those lines.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuck with me, and which is probably why part of the reason why my brother and I, we watch so much tape, we watch so many fights, we watch all the greats before us, of be it boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, because for me it's if you want to be great, you need to have an idea of what it looks like to be great first. you know what I mean? And so I love to study the greats, and particularly in my sport, combat sports and stuff. But also, like you mentioned, Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano's one of the best guys to learn from. One of the best in sports, period. Because he had the longevity, he had the peak, he had the discipline, he had the mentality. And Cristiano's one of the guys who got me into watching football when I was like 7, 8 years old. So he just burst onto the scene. It was like Euro 2004 for Portugal. And yeah, man, like absolutely, you have to learn from the greats. It would be a waste. You'd be wasting your time if you didn't.
Is there a chance you're a Manchester United fan? Because I'll fist bump you right now.
No, but my brother is. I'm a Real Madrid fan, but my brother's a United fan. Javid is a United fan.
In England, did you find an affinity for an English team?
That's weird. Everyone always said I've never had an affinity with the English team. Why it was Real Madrid was because, like I said, that era 2003-4 is when I got into football, and that's when it was the Galacticos. My favorite player of all time was R9, Ronaldo Nazário, the Brazilian one.
Yeah,
I remember watching him, and I just fell in love with football. And it was the Los Blancos, the white kit, and I just fell in love with Real Madrid, just like that.
R9, Luis Figo, Zinedine Zidane, David Beckham was
for a few years. Roberto Carlos.
Oof, that's a squad. That's a squad. At least you didn't say City, Arsenal, or Chelsea. Otherwise, I think I would have hit the end button right now.
Yeah,
the interview. But we'll continue, and I'll let Goes get some questions in. Fellow Manchester United fan, so I think his heart might be a little broken as well. But go ahead, Goes. What do you got for our guest, Farid Basharat? Ferocious Farid Basharat.
Farid, so now going forward in the position that you're in, what do you foresee? When do you get to have those conversations about what's next, and what are the ideas that you have? Is there anybody in particular that you'd like to face?
I'm already having these conversations with my manager, Ali. I've rang him up a couple times already. For me, it's the top 15. I want the top 15. I was hoping to get ranked after that last one, but it is what it is. I truly believe the title shot or the title picture is not too far away, especially the way Marab is taking care of everybody at the top. At some point, they're going to need new blood. Be it 3 fights, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fights. I don't care how much it is. I'm going to keep knocking at the door. I'm going to keep winning. Who I want is top 15. I think 15 is Montel Jackson. 14 is Kyler Phillips. 13 is Vinicius, I think. 12, David Martinez. So I'll take any of those guys. I feel so confident. I would even go higher, but I think most of the other guys, Cejudo and stuff, they're booked now. But I'll take the highest ranked guy.
Sometimes we'll speak to fighters and they'll tell us, despite me being on a really good run right now, I still feel like I'm growing and I'm probably not ready for the champ at this moment, but I will be soon. You kind of seem the opposite. You seem like you're ready to bang with these guys at the very top. You feel like you're already there skill-wise?
Absolutely. I feel I'm 100% there. 100%. And this is not coming from a point of arrogance. It's really just coming from confidence because, first of all, look at my resume. I've got the 3rd longest win streak in bantamweight. I think Bautista's second, and if Omar beats him, which I think he will, I will have the 2nd longest win streak. After Marab, then Bautista, then it's, I believe, me and Ayman Zahabi tied with 5. So I don't have a bad resume, obviously, undefeated. I'm young and I'm coming into an age where I'm coming into my prime. I'm still probably a couple years away from my prime, but I've matured so much. I'm training with the best as far as teammates and coaches go. Experience isn't as much of a factor as it was, say, early in my career. That was the one thing like people could probably hold against me. I'm just really feeling myself. I know I'm making the improvements, and yeah, like by the time I do get to the title picture, it will be another 3 or 4 fights, I reckon, realistically speaking. Can you imagine how much better I'll be after that? So right now I feel good enough to mix it in with a top 5, 100%. I believe this. And by the time I actually do get there, I think I'm gonna be so confident. But yeah, I absolutely feel I'm ready for the top.
Earlier in the interview, we were talking about some legends in another sport. Marab's kind of becoming a legend in our sport, right? Is he the guy that you kind of hope is there when you get there, or does that not matter?
To be honest with you, listen, I've actually trained with Marab in the past. I've seen him around. I have nothing against him. He's a pretty cool guy. He's always been good to me. I don't care who the champion is, to be honest with you. My goal when I got into the sport was not to be a specific person. It was to be the champion, to have the belt. And whoever the champion at the time, I don't care. I don't really have anything personal against anybody. It's just my dream. and I just want the belt. I just want the gold.
Where do you rank yourself amongst the Dana White's Contender Series alum?
I think I'm not too far from the top. I think some of the earlier season guys will get above me, of course, because they've just had more time to prove it, like the Jamal Hills, like the Sean O'Malley and stuff. I was season 5 or 6, I can't remember now. So yeah, Jack Della's become champ. I think I'm up there. I must be in the top 20, top 25, I reckon. I think I'm one of the only Ultimate Fighter guys. Not Ultimate Fighter, sorry, Dana White Contender Series guys who are still undefeated. So 5-0 in the UFC. I think I'm one of the best alumni coming out of Dana White Contender Series for sure. Yeah.
I'd say closer to top 10, honestly, because of the undefeated record.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you're undefeated overall, and you're undefeated in the UFC.
yeah.
So good stuff. All right,
Thank
so
you.
let me follow up on a few things here. You were 3-0 in 2024, but yet we waited a year to see you fight again. Was that by design? Were you nursing injuries, or did you just want some off time to get better at all the arts?
No, it was just an unfortunate timing. There was First of all, there was Ramadan in March, and I made it clear to my manager that I wanted a fight before Ramadan, between October and March. And the UFC ended up coming with a fight like right at the end of Ramadan, and it meant that I would have had to miss all of Ramadan, and it was not something I was willing to do. I was not willing to compromise my faith. So then after Ramadan, they wanted me on the Baku card. I said yes. A couple guys pulled out, and for the longest time, I was just preparing for just nobody. But I was like, okay, Baku, Baku, Baku. Then, unfortunately, 3 weeks before the fight, I got bronchitis. It was really, really bad, and I said to I just got on antibiotics, and I said to my manager, look, I don't think I'll be able to do the whole Baku thing with the travel and everything. This is too much of a problem. It's too. So I told him, can we just put me in America in July? Like, just push it back 2 weeks. And UFC weren't really fond of that. They had other plans, so then they kind of just pushed me all the way back to October, and it just snowballed into 1 year being out the game. But I was in the gym the whole time. I was working nonstop, not the whole time.
And that is when you get better, right?
It's exactly right. It's exactly right. Especially in American Top Team, I was relatively new. I had my last fight in an American Top Team, but I'd only been there for a couple months, so I wasn't able to really gel into the team and work with the coaches as much as my last fight. I'd been there for over a year, and I think you saw the progression with my coaches, Mike Brown, Artem Levin, Steve Mocco. There was a big progression.
That was going to be one of my questions. We used to see you early on at Extreme Couture, and then I recently saw you with American Top Team. What precipitated that change?
The main thing was my brother and I were in Las Vegas for a couple of years, and our main coaches were Dewey Cooper and Jake Shields, and they were amazing. They still are amazing. I stay in touch every time I'm in Vegas. I get some work in with them. The biggest issue just came about, we couldn't align our schedules, because at the time Dewey was very occupied with Francis Ngannou, who was over in Saudi Arabia doing the fights with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, and understandably so. He would go out and spend time with them, with Francis, for like 6-7 weeks at a time, and Jake also had a lot of commitments. So it was just a matter of, we couldn't get the coaching time that we wanted. Much as amazing as it was, we just had to be a little bit selfish and just go like, listen, we need a little bit more hands-on work with us. So we decided to just relocate, and Jake and Dewey were like, yeah, absolutely, like, it seems like the right thing to do, man. Like, we're all for it. Good luck. That's why I love those guys, because I know they were the whole time I worked with them, I had a real good bond with them. They weren't selfish. They had me and Javid our best interests at heart. So yeah.
Throughout your career, I'm sure you've shared cards with your brother. Is that the preference in the UFC? You can grind together, lose weight together, fight together, or do you prefer opposites where you can kind of be the other person's best right hand throughout a camp and fight?
I probably prefer the latter a bit more. I probably prefer it when I definitely don't love it when we're on the same card. We've done that a few times prior to the UFC. It gets a bit stressful. I wouldn't mind doing that if it's like a big one in London or something, if it's that would be quite epic. But for the most part, I kind of like it when we're either fighting a couple weeks apart from one another. That way we grind together in camp, or when one is fighting and then a couple months later, the other one is fighting, because then we can facilitate for the other one. So same day is quite stressful.
Of the two of you, for sure, bantamweight's the future, or is there one or two of you that could either go down or up, just to, I guess, avoid it? Not necessarily fighting each other, but just kind of like the same people or whatever.
I think we've got to see how things play out. If it gets to a point where we're both kind of getting in each other's way, then either one will make that decision. We're both big enough, frame-wise, physically, to make featherweight. Featherweight is probably something that both of us at the back end of our career will definitely entertain. I mean, I'm 5'8", he's 5'10". The cut is not easy. Because we're disciplined, we make it straightforward. But I'd imagine if I wasn't completely year-round disciplined, it would get really, really tough. So yeah, that's something we would look into if we got in each other's way.
Back to football. You grew up in England, which is huge. They love their football there. Your brother's a Manchester United fan. How is it that whole thing, and you guys were in London?
Yeah, London, Northwest London.
So how is it that amongst all that, you just somehow, it didn't interest me? Like, the brothers usually kind of align with similar likes, or just the environment. He didn't pull you to a match, and you just kind of like even 10% dig football?
No, we were obsessed with football. We loved football. We played for schools of excellence. We had academy trials. We were both really, really good.
Football Farid, why'd you say that earlier? This is great stuff.
No, man, football is my love to this day. Football is number one. I love football to this day. I'm
a favorite player or nothing, like the mascot, the stadium, nothing.
Well, back then, yeah, we used to go to matches and stuff. When we tried, that was our goal, was to pursue football, like every kid in London or the UK does. But the thing is, the UK and London in particular is so competitive when it comes to football. It didn't quite work out, and then when I got to about 15, I realized that this might be a long shot. It might not work out. So then I was like, and around 13, I really started getting into watching MMA and the UFC again, or maybe 12, 13. So then I was just like, I don't know what it was, but it was just a fire I had inside me that led me to MMA. Maybe because it was because it's what do you call it? It's not a team sport. I felt like in football, I would get let down by the team sometimes. If the goalkeeper had a bad day, it reflected on you, or if the striker couldn't put the goals away, it reflected on you. But in MMA, I felt the fact it was me and me alone. That's probably what drew me to MMA. But bro, football to this day, I mean, when I was in school, I'm not joking, I would probably play maybe 4 or 5 hours of football every day.
Wow.
Is that where you got the nickname Ferocious?
No. Ferocious was a good friend of mine called me Ferocious because he was a big boxing fan, and Ferocious Fernando Vargas was his favorite boxer. Nice. So he was like, hey, I boxing sparred him one time, and he goes, man, you're ferocious, like you're like Fernando Vargas. I'm gonna call you Ferocious for now. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll stick with it.
If you hadn't told me that story, I would have guessed you and your brother went to a match, ran into a firm, you guys showed him what's up, and one of those guys said, man, that guy's ferocious.
There was a couple of situations, not too different. There was a couple of, because we used to play Sunday League back then. When you were growing up, we used to play on Sundays.
You got a good street fight story for us from the league? That smile gave it away. Come on, spill. You got one, don't you?
There was one occasion. No, there was one occasion because I was quite small. I mean, I'm not the biggest now either, but I was even smaller. And then like around 15, 16, I got a little bit of a growth spurt. But I think I was about 14. And there were some big physical kids on the football pitch. And one of them he kept backing up because I would play right back. And he would keep backing up onto my foot with his studs, and it was quite painful. And after a while, I just kind of like shoved him in the back and I said like, hey, like, calm down, man, what are you doing? And he was very big. So he assumed, he was like, was this small guy? So he kind of pushed me, like it was like a throat chop. He pushed me. I kind of instant reflex just kind of jumped for him, got a little bit of a connection, but it turned into like a massive melee, his team, my team. And it ended up being like a 15 versus 15 brawl. And I ended up, because I did Taekwondo when I was a kid and I still had some of that. I remember kicking one guy in the head, like a roundhouse kick.
Like Edson Barbosa against Teddy Edom? Terrietta?
No, roundhouse, like just a normal roundhouse kick to the head, like like a normal head kick. It wasn't a spinning kick. And I remember getting with a head kick, and he kind of fell backwards, and that was like one of my first times. I was like, oh man, like I got some moves. Maybe I should do MMA. But yeah, that was one occasion I remember. It was Sunday League. Yeah.
Who won the fight? Your team or their team?
I think my team won. It was because it was a home match. No, because it was a home match. Yeah, it was a home match. So it was like we outnumbered them. They came out with their like 11 plus like their subs, and a couple of like parents were there. So it was like 20 of them, but there was like 40, 45 of us probably.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a great story. I like it. Did your brother get in on? Did your brother get in on that too?
No, he wasn't there that day because he was playing for a different age group in a different place. So I remember this. Yeah, I was around 14.
Could you guys?
I'm not that proud of it now. Say again. I said I'm not that proud of it now, looking back on it, but it was what it was, man. It's just kids being kids.
Part of your history,
Yeah.
And plus, that dude was bullying you, so it's not like
exactly.
You were for the fight.
Exactly.
Got to stand up for yourself. Were you guys allowed to continue in the league, or was this a big deal where like the teams got suspended and shit?
No, it was a big deal. The police came and everything, but I think it got resolved kind of mutually because it would have meant either both teams would have had to get suspended from the league, or point deductions, or a big fine. I think we ended up getting a fine, but the team whatever paid that, the team board. But in the end of it, we kind of just settled it mutually, like shook hands. That's what I like about the UK, London. It's like you have a tear up, you have a straighten, and then it's kind of like, all right, nice one, boys. We'll call it. Make peace.
And now I'm sure everybody's going, watch out for that right back. He don't play.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
Let me just tell you one last thing on the way out. My brother, I've been doing this for a long time, and every once in a while, I'll listen to a fighter talk, communicate, and then I'll tell him, I think that guy could be an announcer in the future. I said it about Michael Chiesa. We said it about a few guys, right, Goes along the way, because just your tone, your cadence, your communication. Hopefully, you watch a lot of the sport, because I think one day, honestly, you could be a good announcer. Who did we say recently Goes about? It was a female. The one that met us at UNLV.
The one that met us where?
At UNLV. Starts with an M. Meredith, what's her name?
Michelle Watson?
No, not Michelle Watterson. Goes, she met us at UNLV that same day that we had Stitch and Mark Ratner, and
I don't even remember being at UNLV or
sorry, Virgin Hotel.
Oh, Misha Tate?
No, well, she's good too, but the other one with the curly hair.
Oh, Miranda Maverick.
Yeah, she's really good at expressing herself. I think you could do that in the future, Farid. I know you're throwing down still, but hopefully. Do you have a podcast or a YouTube channel?
No, we've got a YouTube channel, my brother and I, the Basharat brothers, and we're thinking about doing like a podcast type of thing too. We did after UFC 320, my last fight, we did a bit of a sit down recap where me and him. The good thing is my brother and I, we banter, we have the chemistry, like I'm sure like you and your brothers, the chemistry is there. So it's fun. It's interesting. Everyone's always telling me like you guys should be more active on the YouTube. We're not the most active, but I think it's something we'll be active with. And I find it fun now too. So yeah, I think we might give it a good stick.
You know what? I was actually shocked when he started saying that, when George started saying that, because I was going to tell you to stick around, because I was going to tell you, we've been doing this for 18 years. Dude, you're one of like the best interviews as far as like conducting yourself, answering questions.
He doesn't give long answers.
No, you're like a 10. I'm not saying it just like we're talking to you now. I was like, I've been blown away this entire interview.
He's a 9.5. If he was a Manchester United fan, he'd be a 10.
Hey. No, but hey, amazing. Thank you guys, man. I think media work and interview and stuff is something that I've grown to like. I think I've always had maybe some potential or whatever for it. I think my dad always would tell me like he was very into books. He was like a bookworm. He was very intelligent, and he'd always tell me, listen, buddy, like the power of words and how you speak is very important. So don't be just another street kid who doesn't know how to speak. One day it's going to come in handy. You need to know, as a man, you need to carry yourself properly. Like you need to know how to speak. So it's something growing up that I always took pride in, was that I really focused on how I articulate myself and stuff. So yeah, thank you a lot. I think that pushes me, motivates me a little bit. Maybe I will give the YouTube a bit more concentration.
The Bash Brothers. That'd be a good podcast name.
Yeah, Bash Brothers, Bash Bros. A lot of people said Bash Bros. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I like it. I like it.
Thanks for the time. Sorry we took a little longer than you're probably used to, but we got carried away there with the street fight story, the announcing.
No, I enjoyed it. By the way, who is your favorite players growing up, or whenever? Like, who's your favorite players of all time?
Football?
Yeah, football.
Eric Cantona.
Yeah, Cantona.
So you guys have been fans for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
Keane, Tevez, but he didn't stick around long, and then he stabbed us in the back and went to City. Scholes, of course,
Rooney. I love Rooney.
And Wayne Rooney, man. Wayne Rooney and Ronaldo, just those guys. Like the way Rooney would trek back and just give it his all.
You know what, man? Football has developed into something. I mean, it's become very tactical and stuff, but players like Rooney just don't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't. Where it's just like even Rooney will say it himself, where it's just now everyone's got a role and you have to stick to exactly that role. And I think Guardiola's got he kind of messed up the system a little bit but yeah, the players like Wayne Rooney, they just don't exist anymore. They're just like free roll. They do what they want, but they're just so good that you can't tell them what to do. But yeah, man.
And they're worried about social media and their jewelry, and I don't know. They're worried about a lot of things that distract them, and I don't know. Come the day of, if you're not playing well, all that stuff just hits you back because you're following a generation of a ton of success and a ton of legends who, focused on the game, and then that other one was a big secondary session of their brand, we'll call it, right? With the exception of maybe David Beckham, he pulled it off somehow. Yeah. But yeah, nowadays it's like they all got their cameramen following them around, looking for that moment, looking to go viral. It's like, and they're forgetting about, I guess, what got them there and what's the most important and what pays you the most. These guys get paid a ton of money, as you know. So, and there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of hungry kids that will do what you do and may not be as consumed about that other stuff.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
No, I love it, boys.
He's got a son named Kai Rooney, and it looks like he might be one of the people that can follow the dad, actually.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of sons that just don't make it,
Yeah. No, apparently he's a good player, apparently. But it always makes you wonder. He grew up Rooney grew up in a tough neighborhood, for example.
Yeah.
His children were raised with a silver spoon in their mouth, essentially, with all the riches that Wayne had. So it makes you wonder, do they have the hunger? Do they have the desire? And it's the same with Robin Van Persie's kid. It's the same with Cristiano Ronaldo's kid. And it's like, will they have the same hunger? That's it. That's the big issue.
Right. Well, Holling's second generation, and look how awesome he is at City. But
sometimes it works out. Like you got Steph Curry, I believe, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. They're sons of basketball, like previous legends or whatever. But yeah, sometimes it works out. But oftentimes I've noticed you take Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., these kind of guys, it doesn't quite work out.
He's a tragedy, man. That guy. Same with Jeffrey Jordan, Michael Jordan's son, and
but those are big shoes to step into, man. Chavez, Jordan, Cristiano. It's not easy, man.
My brother hates Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody does. That guy.
He let us down against Jake Paul. Jake Paul's been spitting out our guys, our MMA guys. So I thought, okay, well, here comes a boxer. He'll kind of show him what's up. Worse.
I couldn't believe it. I think you know what's funny is I remember when he was fighting Canelo, Chavez Senior, I believe, was rooting for Canelo.
That's it.
I found that so funny.
Long.
God damn, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, Chavez Senior I think he was rooting for. Well, he did an interview where he kind of backed Canelo, and I found it so funny. But
he said he
Chavez
needed
Jr.
him to teach him a lesson.
That's it, something like that. Yeah. He goes, I want him to teach my son a lesson. I was like, yeah.
Wow. All right. Hey, it's cool that you know who the Currys are and you follow the other sports. We'll have to do more interviews, man. Once you get your fight booking, we'd love to get you on again. But again, thanks for the time today. It was a ton of fun, Farid.
Hey, I'd love to, man. I'd love to. Thank you. I've been watching you guys forever, so appreciate you guys, and I look forward to it, man. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Take care. All right.
Bye.